And welcome to the Portress podcast. Thanks to Port Fan Radio. Tonight, yes, it's me, Matthew, again. On this Wednesday night, Port Adelaide are 2-0 and leading into the big showdown on Saturday night. With me again is Craig. G'day, Craig. How you going?
Good, mate. How you going?
Yeah, I am terrific. And, I'm ready for a big show and a big couple of days leading up to Saturday night. And a bit nervous about it all, but very excited nonetheless. And with us again is Mark Lobbin, all the way from my fellow Queenslander power supporter. G'day, Mark. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good. Yeah, talking Queensland, let's give the Crows a pineapple. Hello, listeners.
Excellent.
And where do you plan on putting that pineapple?
Between the cheeks.
Excellent, guys. Well, what a big couple of days. How do we all feel? It's just an interesting kind of lead up. It's been a bit of a tipster's nightmare, as they say. Probably Port Adelaide early in the week. We're kind of looking at favourites in some way, with maybe Josh Jenkins not playing, and then now Homsch is definitely out, but they've named Jenkins, or they will name Jenkins, but he most likely won't play. It's a wow! It just the matchups, some of the things, and it's always this is always the way. But 20th year anniversary, we'll talk a bit about that, and I'd like to chat to you guys about Cummings and Jamison fight, and just all that was an exciting 20 years ago, and it's just an exciting time 2-0 for both teams. Yeah, stop me before I just keep going. So, tell us, guys, just for example, just to start with, just a bit of the weekend, if we can do a review of Port Adelaide's game against Fremantle Dockers, an 89-point win. Now, you weren't there. None of us were there, and you weren't there, Craig. You were elsewhere for the day. Can you just paint us a bit of a picture of what you were doing, and also kind of keep an eye on the scores, and did you kind of want to look away or kind of keep an eye on the scores, and how did it all go for you for the day?
No, well, I was keeping an eye on the scores. I wasn't actually able to even watch the game because I was at Oz Comic Con in Adelaide over the weekend. I volunteer with them. I do various stuff for them and whatnot, and I was working what they call the photo collection wall this year, and you wouldn't believe how many Port Adelaide supporters actually came through getting photos with at least one person in particular who we all know, and this is back from 2014 when the club actually said it as well, a guy named Jason Momoa, otherwise known as Khal Drogo from Game of Thrones. He is a Port Adelaide supporter. He has been in Adelaide, he has been in Perth in the past, wearing Port Adelaide Magpies gear, and it was just seeing all these fans coming through. There were people with the Alberton crowd scarves, getting him to hold one, and they were all going, cheering along. I saw him walking past right near the end of the day for him, which was about 5 o'clock, so at that stage we were about 40, 50 points up at that stage, and I'm going, Jason, we're winning, go Port. He's like, go Port, mate. And it was awesome, man. So I didn't actually get to watch it live. By 5 o'clock I ended up going off to a panel and listening to a guy talking about dick and fart jokes and all this other stuff that I won't mention because it's probably not quite responsible for a podcast like this, but no, I did watch the game afterwards, and I almost wish I had said, look, can I leave and go early and go to the game, because that would have been an excellent game to watch, but at least my father got to go, and I'm happy with that.
Oh, excellent. No, that's great. And when you missed a game where did you see any Fremantle players at the at the convention? I mean, they weren't at the ground.
They definitely weren't at the convention, and there definitely weren't any supporters there either for them.
Oh, I'll tell you what, we were playing against Witches Hats, so, crazy.
I would say there would have been, two or three players in that game that would have stood up?
Yeah, I mean, not many. There was a couple of players, but for our boys, what was really good was, and we like to see it. I think Mark and I were We were talking about making sure we see this team bury sides, and is 89 points a bit of a bury there, Mark?
89 points is about right.
Consistently one each quarter?
The whole structure, the way in which Fremantle are playing, I feel really sorry for them. They have got little cohesion, and there's flashes of good stuff occasionally. Mm-hmm. And I was expecting it to be something like that, especially after just seeing the first quarter, and I'm going, oh dear, they're in for a flogging. But what an exciting thing, and it's good to see 8 good quarters, 4 good quarters against Sydney, and 4 good quarters against Fremantle, and I think that the planning, the strategy, the whole game plan is brilliant. And despite all the criticism and all the doubt that's happened since 2015, 2016, we've got a very good game plan, which is quite apparent. And I'm excited. Even though I probably don't sound excited, I am excited.
Well, they're underdogs again, and as Paddy said after round 1, there's something, and it's not a good thing long term for us to have this kind of loving and embracing the underdog tag, because you don't want to be doing that, because you actually want to be playing against those underdogs and beating them and just be a champion side. If you're an underdog, it's because we're right now, I think, like I'm looking at some of the tipsters, 25% of across the board, pretty much 3/4 of the tipsters are going with Crows, and so we're certainly underdogs again. But I would certainly like us to be in a position that we are favoured for every game, and so that's going to take. I think that's going to take the whole season. So next year, I don't think we're going to be. I think this game will help us get a lot more respect across the AFL and the AFL media and across the AFL board, because everyone is pretty much saying it's a fait accompli that not only will Crows win today, but will also continue to have a really, really good season. And if they win, if they lose over the weekend, I don't think they lose too much, but I think Port gains a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think Adelaide.
That is definitely true, mate.
You see Adelaide?
I'm not sure if...
Go ahead.
Sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, I'm not sure if you saw, I believe it came up today, Jonathan Brown has now changed his prediction for premiership favourite as of this week, and it's gone from Greater Western to the Crows.
Yep. And as I said in our Facebook group today, heap the pressure on them. Just place it all on Crows, not just for this week, but move on for beyond that as well. Mark?
Oh, look, I'm really happy, and I agree with all of that. Let them lap up the sort of like the glory of we're going to be premiers and all that. Let the talk begin. I'm really interested. I think that we will beat them and then go over to Canberra the following week and roll GWS. And I can't wait to see that happen. And so that's my little prediction, is a nice double. Crows, GWS, they fall over. The preferred premiers are going to be in for a shock.
Well, let's look at the injury list and just kind of who's in and out, and what's our predictions for the selections tomorrow. And as we said, we've got Josh Jenkins for starters. If we're going to just look at our opponents and how they're going to line up, and obviously if the three of us were in another world, we're at Albion doing the selections, I mean, we would always, and it's very smart to plan for Josh Jenkins to be playing. So if we want to go ahead with him playing for a moment, let's just do that scenario. What's you guys' thoughts in regards to how we plan for that? And I think you guys have got a name that you put up on the Facebook comments today in when we're talking a bit about the selection and a bit about Homsh's loss. Did you want to just kind of have a chat about that to start with, Craig?
Oh, sure. I mean, the forgotten defender from last year, Logan Austin, he has come back from injury. He has played 2 SANFL trial games, and he, I would say, would be ready to come back and at least play, because he, besides Jackson Trengrove, he is the only genuine tall defender we have, and we're not using him because our slightly smaller, non-genuine key defenders play just as well as he does in the same role. But with Humphrey out, it may be the opportunity for Logan to come back in and show us again what he was able to do last year against the likes of Travis Cloak, against Drew Petrie. He did a roll on Tex last year, may not have helped us win the game, but he still played a decent role on Tex. He knows how to dismantle key forwards.
Yeah.
It's just when the whole team works together, it might be better for him to be in a side like we've got now, where we've got better coverage throughout the whole ground sides, just relying on our defenders like we did last year.
What's funny, isn't it? After the game, like Ken says, Pittard's playing. And Marky, you remember after that, he's Hartlett's playing. He's just sick. So we're all the debate for the first couple of days until Hompsh's gone is where are we going to fit these guys? And I kind of think that our midfield is so good that Carl Eamon's going to be dropped, and they'll do the adjustments that way. That's just my thoughts. All right, so we're planning on, just for a moment, Josh Jenkins is playing. Who's going on him? He's a little bit wounded, obviously, but let's just assume by Saturday night he's absolutely cherry ripe to play. He may be a little bit sore, but he's playing. So who goes on him?
Jonas.
So Jonas takes Jenkins.
Words out of my mouth.
So you've got Cleary on Walker.
Most likely.
All right, you've got
either that or you go Jacko on Walker.
Wingard has mentioned on Double A today that most likely Jarman Impey will be going on bets. So, what's your thoughts?
Could be interesting.
What's your thoughts on that one?
He's done the role before, and he's actually done it well. So we have flirted with other people. We have tried Darcy on him, and Darcy doesn't do too bad, but still, it's Eddie. He's always going to get away from someone. The only other player that we have that could do a role on Eddie would be Cracker, and I don't think they're ready to bring him back in yet.
You're right. Jarman will probably do the best job on Betts, and Betts is extremely fleet of foot, and he can get away really fast. So, I mean, the danger players, Jenkins, Tex Walker, and Betts, have got to be matched up really, really well. And I'm sure that our coaches are strategising how that's going to be done.
Hey team, we've got someone that's put a little comment on the Spreaker chat, and it's Portia. Didn't know we should be listening to our show.
Hi, Portia.
Hi, Portia. What a privilege. Hello, the big footy people coming on board here. She says their list is wrecked. So now what that was about 10 minutes ago or so. I'm trying to figure out what that was in relation to.
I'm not sure.
Well, elaborate, Portia.
Probably because we're talking about Freo before. That's probably what that's in relation to.
Okay.
So
yes,
I'll give you that one. Yes, they've still got a couple of good players. I mean, Cam McCarthy, once he settles in, he'll probably be a good player.
Yeah, I thought he was good for GWS.
Lockie Neal. If we can get Lockie Neal back to SA, damn. I would like that in my team.
That would be nice.
That might be handy. He'll be knocked around a bit by SPP. Yeah, thanks, Portia. Yep, 3 overs. Yeah, excellent. Now feel free to chime in anytime, Portia, and we'll get your thoughts on it. So where were we talking about? Well, just in those lineups, guys. For our defenders. Where do you see Pittard kind of, and especially to the role? Do we want a fast team? Do we want speed and pace? Because I'd keep Eamon in if we're going to be going with pace. Otherwise, Is it a bit more about the strength and a bit of muscle power, and that's where we kind of, I reckon, Hartlett can go to the wing, half forward. Your thoughts there?
I mean, look, I just want to get back to what we were talking about with Jump and Impey.
Yes,
I'm
please.
happy for him to go back and play on Bet. However, that again drops another one from, with the way we've got currently trying to structure this team, we're looking to drop someone like Carl Amon, we're dropping Jack Holmes, and we're bringing in Hartlett and Pittard, who are both basically defenders, and we're looking to drop Impey back into defence. So who's going to cover Jarman's role on the forward line?
That's probably where I'm saying keep aiming. Mark, your thoughts on that? On what Craig just brought up?
But then who comes out?
Yeah, it's an interesting challenge, isn't it? I don't particularly want to see Carl Amon dropped, but we've got to be able to fit in the right players to be able to shore up our defence. I really like the idea of Jackson Trengove up forward. I know it's only early days with it, but we've seen some good signs already to be able to defend like crazy up front. And it may very well be that why not have Trengove on bets?
Trengove, I think he's too tall for him.
No, sorry, mate. I can't see Jacko play. No, he's a tall key defender. He would not play on someone like Betts. Betts would just run rings around him.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry, man.
But what I see, Hartlett doesn't kind of fill the role that Holmes would be as a defender. So who does? I was thinking when Pittard could come in, I was excited by the idea that Pittard, I think Jackson Trengove just simply goes back in for Homsch, and then that changes our forward line, changes our forward structure. And I think I can see the advantages of Pittard and Hartlett kind of blending in the wings and can be able to kind of go up forward a bit more. So I don't see it being
fine.
Go ahead.
However, Hartlett's been playing a lot better since he's been playing as a halfback flank compared to being on a wing or in the midfield. Do we want to mess with him by throwing him in the wing again? Because we saw what happened last year.
He was lost,
He was lost, and
he's already admitted his aerobic capacity doesn't hold it in the mids, and that he likes to go in short bursts.
Correct.
Interesting. No, I don't know. It's a fascinating one. What's your thoughts, Portia? Well, she says here, Crows will be trying to set up to intercept rush kicks forward as they can't beat us consistently in close contests. Need the best kicks in the side this week. Sam Gray would be iffy for that reason. Correct. Yeah, no, Sam Gray's probably on my... I've just seen some of the clangers again he's done. I think... out goes Homsch and Gray for Pittard and Hartlett, and we try to find the best fit from there. And I think, as much as I agree with you about Trengove being in the forward line has been good, he will go back, but he certainly won't be hanging around Eddie Betts. He'll be in. He'll
first comment, I'll take that one on the chin.
Oh no! I'm just saying. I think he'll go back. I think Homsch for Trengove's just a no-brainer, really.
Yeah.
So
otherwise we're going to have to make too many changes because we didn't have to look at someone bringing in like Cracker, bringing in Logan Austin. We're going to have to make too many changes to the team to try and work this around. I have a feeling maybe two changes at most. I'm just trying to figure out who the other player that comes out. It could be Sam Gray, but again, he had 22 touches for the game compared to Carl Amon and his 18 disposals for the game. I don't know. And Carl just to me seems to be he doesn't play much on the field. He comes in spurts and can play in spurts, but he can't play an entire game. Where Sam Gray has a bit more of a tank to play a game.
No, I agree, and it's good timing with Nicholas Teal. Probably not even listening to our show, just heard Sam Gray's voice being mentioned, name being mentioned, and then suddenly was kind of drawn to his Not on computer or something. No, Sam Gray may be dropped, but it may not. The only thing that could the only thing that that's funny. If you're listening to reading the comments, that's funny. No, the only thing I was saying, I agree with you. Sam Gray is consistently still in the game all the time, as opposed to Carl or we've seen. Who else was it? Maybe Impey. I think we've seen some players drop off out of the game at times. So no, that's a good one. I'll give you that one. Flankers are meant to play in spurts. No, they're not meant to. You know.
Look, I would partially agree with Portia, but what she's saying is we're going to drop Sam Gray, who has a larger tank and can play longer on the field, to someone like Carl Amon, who's, I think, he paid, 50-something% in the first game. I think he did about 50 to 60 in the second.
Yep, Sam Gray and Carl Amon, they both kick goals.
Sam Gray would have played more on the field throughout the game than Carl Amon. So that to me is the problem. I don't want to drop someone like Sam Gray, who he may not be as clean with the ball as Carl.
Yep.
However, he has the tank to go all day. We don't to lose someone like that when you, especially with the cap rotation.
And what about Jared Pollock?
Polly's on fire.
Yeah,
I can't see anyone matching him.
On fire.
No, he is playing very well.
I can't see anyone really being any matchup for him that's worthy of thinking that they can nullify him. McKay might go. I don't know. Does he go anymore? Is he more of an inside? It's an interesting one. I don't really see. Maybe Laird, but I think Pollock would still beat him as well.
Well, it's interesting with the delivery that we're getting with Paddy Ryder's dominance in ruck, and I just simply can't see Sauce Jacobs matching him, even though Sauce Jacobs is an excellent ruckman. Despite that he's a Crow, he is good.
He's a good ruckman, but I think he'll have nightmares over Paddy. Paddy's going to be big nightmares
without the no third man thing. Changes everything, and Paddy has got the biggest leap. So without a third man getting in there and interfering in the contest, Paddy is the number one ruckman in the AFL, absolutely by a long way. So therefore, delivery to our mids to be able to get on the inside and take it to the outside is unparalleled.
Couple of comments on the chat, on the Spreaker chat, guys. Nicholas Teal said, "I think that what the selectors will note about Sam Gray is his amount of deliveries that he hits Dixon on the chest with. We need that. Yeah, good point. He's done a lot of that. Sam Gray to me, it's like when someone says, there's no kind of viruses around. We're okay. So we don't need." Injections and kind of we're all safe. It's okay. No, the reason that there's because of vaccines is why we are actually safe and it's fine. And I think Sam Gray's that type of person that we don't really need someone like him. And then you realise, hey, he gets the ball a lot. And I think if we lost him on the ground, if we didn't have him, we'd probably realise how much we need him because he. If I look at some of the highlights when I go through the highlights and the goal involvements. He's in it a lot, actually. So it's something.
Absolutely,
he's underrated there.
Very high percentage.
He's underrated. He may not do a lot of spectacle things, but he's a ball magnet. So hopefully he just cleans up his disposal. Can we go to the forward line, guys? Just wanted before we even talk to middle
on the midfield.
Midfield. All right, stick to the midfield.
Will the Crows make changes there this week? That would be something interesting because right now they don't have really that big body midfielder that we have three of already in our side. Mm-hmm. And could that be a big X factor for us where they're relying on guys like Malira, Sloan, Crouch? They're small, quick attack midfielders, and we've just got these three big body bulls that are just going to go in there and especially two of them being just as young as, so they're just as fast. They can be just as fast as Crouches and Maliras and that. They got to just crunch some of these Crows midfielders and be like, That's a muscle, mate.
I
Nick
agree.
Sam. Nick Sam. And
I think we're a lot stronger.
Oh, my goodness. They're so good. They'll get absolutely flung around.
Yep, I think we're a lot stronger in the midfield. I think I can't see any kind of good matchups for like Boki will kind of have a good game because I think they'll essentially tag Gray. Got to look out for a couple of their players at the moment. Cameron's having was his name?
Charlie Cameron.
Charlie Cameron.
Yes.
He's good, obviously.
Very classy player.
Very good player. So we're going to have to look out for him. I don't know. Andy Otten's a good player. I think he's going to be someone that we'll have to be kind of making sure we're on top of. And Daniel Talia, I'm worried about. Hopefully Dixon's not scarred by previous clashes with him. And I think the form that Dixon's in, he can actually kind of get over in this contest. And if the players obviously around him in the forward line, we look like a far more damaging forward line than we've been previous against the Crows. Hopefully they can work Talia so we can just give Dixon a good look and an opportunity to get first hands on it and get on top of him.
Absolutely. Well, the forward line thing is really interesting because the mids are going so well, like dropping Robbie Gray and up front has paid absolute dividends. But once you throw Wingard in there too, and you've got Brett Eddy, and you've got an extremely dangerous forward line, and yeah.
No, absolutely. No, it's a good forward line when you.
Number 11, Aaron Young. Youngie in amongst all that. If they can all run amok in the forward line, if we can keep it locked up into the forward 50, goal fest.
Time for the sweet and sours. Here we go. Now, guys, do we have any sweets and sours for this week? Did you guys kind of, in particular, have something from the weekend that was your maybe a part in the game or maybe off the field that was a bit more of a sweet? And what's your sours? So, you want to kick off with yours, Craig? Did you have a sweet for the week? Something that you loved?
Oh, I'm just still liking our midfield setup. I think what we've been missing is just that extra big body mid, and Sam Pepper is certainly filling that role with another 25 touches on the weekend. You could almost say he's almost stitched up the rising star for the year already.
Well, absolutely.
With the way he's been playing.
Yeah, we'll continue that by just quickly adding what Portress said there. She's up SPP's time on the ground from 70% to compensate for any loss there in the midfield, and I think he'll be a scary proposition for the Crows. Mark, your thoughts on SPP and another sweep for the week.
I'm doing cartwheels in my mind about the potential of this lad. He has got a first season. Impressions are amazing, but I mean, just imagine being 19 years old, what he will be like in about 1 or 2 years, and then on from there. But the way that having that just absolute fearless strength through the inside with Ollie Wines makes everyone else able to do a different job a little bit differently, and that's where. Going back to the forward lines, to be able to have tricky players like Chad Widgard and Youngie and Robbie Young. Did I say Robbie Young?
He plays in the Magpies.
The Magpies, mate.
Magpies. He's a tricky player too.
True.
Yeah. Robbie Gray, able to run amok. And move very quickly and take that ball, because coming out of the centre and getting the clearances and being able to muscle your way out of there, it enables fast, talented players to really impact So this will be our first test of a major proportion. I mean, Sydney was awesome, and we played an inferior opposition last weekend. So that's no litmus test. This is the litmus test, and we will see. It will be unveiled just how well they have done their preparation for this season.
Mark, what's your sweep for the week? For the weekend just gone. What tickled your fancy the most?
My sweep is Paddy Ryder.
Paddy.
I am
Excellent.
a stalwart for having great ruck. If you've got great ruck, you've got great delivery to your mids. It's the beginning. From the beginning of the game, when the ball is either thrown up or bounced, and you've got to get that right. And we've got it right. We have the best ruckman in the AFL competition, and that's where it all starts. And then we've got a sensational midfield, and then everything else begins from there. And then defending well and having great forwards, but you've got to have that beginning, because if you're on the back foot and you start having to try and make up for deficiencies as we have in the last season in particular, well, then then it's an entirely different ball game, because then you're picking up the pieces from a bad start rather than starting with a good start.
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm going to actually play my sweep for the week. This is hopefully this works.
Wines, good kicker. Kick not as good. Clean bowls, Everton. Gray, quiet last week when he was injured. He's come alive early this week. Just 8 possessions last week after being hit by Naismith. He's already had a better game this week than last week. 2 goals. Powell Pepper. Blind turn, out of trouble, drives it long, free kick, Robbie Gray. Well, they started with, and he still marked it. He's got 5, Robbie Gray. Dance inside. This could be the best of them. Oh. He's got 6.
He got 6. Robbie Gray, woohoo! Just reminded us how good he is. That's my sweep for the week, is Robbie Gray with absolutely the three surely the 3 votes in the Brownlow votes, and just reminded everyone and just calmed all the Port Adelaide fans' fears. Yeah, Robbie Gray knows how to play football.
Yeah, and a 10 out of 10 in the Coaches Association votes, which I respect more than Brownlow, personally speaking.
Yes. How good's Ollie Wines is kind of first. He's going to have a great year. He is certainly going to be. He's in the coaches top 3 in the coaches votes already. This guy is going to have a stellar year for us.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. He's taken it to the next level, and I'm thinking the reason he has taken it to the next level is for the fact that he has stepped up to the second top leadership role in our club. He is now our vice captain. He wants to show the rest of the boys that he is the second man to rally behind on that field, behind Boak, and that you've got to step up to his game to show that you deserve to be in this team.
Now, guys, we've got a Spreaker chat with welcome Paul Campbell to the Spreaker chat, and we'll get through all the kind of things that the guys have been speaking about here. So a couple more things from Nick I'll talk about in a minute. But Paul has brought up something I wanted to bring up to you guys. You know, in regards to the ball ups and he says here, if they bounce the ball this week, will be an advantage or disadvantage, as it was on up. But essentially what I was thinking is, you know, interesting, Ryder versus, what's his name? Sorry?
Source.
Jacobs. Sam Jacobs. So Jacobs versus Ryder. I try not to look too biased about it. I think if, Ryder can out-jump him. If the ball is getting thrown up, I think that's a big advantage to Ryder, because I think he's got that leap. The other thing too, and with regards to that, is there was a bit of a debate on this, and I want to get you guys' thoughts. If is the ruckman almost essentially the potentially the showdown medalist, because he's going to be so influential on this game, as we can see. We have thoughts on that, guys?
Oh, you can go first, Mark.
Go for it, Craig.
Go for
Oh,
it.
no, Mark, you can go first, mate.
Cheers.
Oh, okay. Showdown medalist, I think it's going to be one of the midfielders. Uncanny, isn't it? Brownlow medals, McGarry medals, and everything like that. It's always bloody midfielders because they're the ones that are noticed the most. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, Craig?
I could definitely see it coming down to the ruckman being who gets up better. I'm hoping it's a throw up because it just seems, and everyone just seemed to agree on the weekend with our game against Freo. It looks so much better with the umpires throwing it up. There was no callbacks. There was none of that. It was just straight up. It was pretty fairly even, and it just seemed to be a lot. I'm hoping the AFL has realised this and will go, perhaps we just need to get rid of the centre bounce. It's useless in this day and age.
Yes. You're right, Craig. And it provides an even competition so the best ruck wins.
Exactly, where the centre bounce, where you're bouncing the ball, the bounce can go any way. I mean, we've even seen that on field with when the ball gets kicked, and I mean, what was it? Wasn't there someone I can't remember who did it? Kicked the goal. There was a goal kicked. I think it was Brett Eddy. When they were talking about Brett Eddy's first goal, his first goal, and they said it was very Monfries-like. With the right angles.
That was a good one, wasn't it?
It was a crazy bounce. It was a crazy good bounce. It's just like, I knew that the gods were on our sides. On our side.
Yes.
I saw that
But that's the thing. The ball, when you're bouncing on the ground, it can go any way. Where at least if it's straight up in the air, thrown up, there may be a little bit of one way or the other, but you're talking very minimal movement. And I just think it would be a smarter option to constantly throw the damn thing up.
Nick Teal says, I have a feeling they will retain the ball throw up. The consistency with it's far better. So that, and maybe let's do some kind of a don't argues to Rory Sloane. That'd be nice.
Whoops.
The other thing too is. Nick Teal was thrown in another one which was really good was regards to the sweets. 2 weeks in a row, loving the consistency of the team. Hope it continues. Sour is 38,000. Come on, Power. We could have done better for our first home game. Thank you for throwing in your sweet and sours there, Nick. That was good. Your thoughts on the numbers, guys?
Nick, I don't want to be that guy, but you've got to remember, yes, it's our first home game of the season. We should get good crowds, but that is a good crowd number when you consider the team we were playing. Fremantle, we don't have that many Fremantle supporters here in Adelaide. Fremantle supporters don't like to travel interstate. For us to get 38,000 for a Freo game is actually, especially on a Sunday twilight bullshit spot, you're not going to get the people from out the country coming in for a Port Adelaide Fremantle game on a Sunday twilight afternoon start. You're going to get families that have got young kids. They're not going to want to go to the football on a twilight, not get home before 8:30, 9 o'clock at night. 38,000 to me was a good crowd for that time slot against that team.
It was great.
You can't expect. It was a good crowd considering.
Twilight. If you look at the statistics, Sunday twilights are the worst attended, the most complained about, the worst time slot whatsoever. Thank you very much, AFL, for putting those giving us heaps of them.
Yeah. Against Fremantle too. Come on,
38,000 is awesome for that.
Didn't the Crows only get 40-something recently to their GWS game?
43, I believe.
Yeah. They didn't have the best crowd that they were expecting.
But when did they play?
I believe that was a Sunday twilight.
Sunday twilight.
So we just go back and have a look. Round one.
Yeah.
Round one. It was Sunday at 2:50.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's still not completely twilight, but it's still later in the afternoon.
If you've got kids, you go to a twilight on a Sunday, That's not going to happen.
And holidays is next week, guys, is it? For you guys, it starts this Sunday
Correct.
twilight?
Easter is next week, yes.
So the Sunday twilight won't be affected as much because Monday is not a school day.
Yes.
Well, no, but we don't have a Sunday twilight this week, so it's not a problem.
Oh, sorry. No, I wasn't thinking that. No, next couple of weeks, I guess. Is there no?
Well,
we're away.
I'm having a look now.
We're off to Canberra.
We're off to Canberra. Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that's Saturday twilight in Canberra.
So it won't affect it
So
anyway.
that's not a problem. And then we got Friday night here. Another Saturday twilight against Brisbane at the Gabba.
Yep.
Then a Saturday twilight against the Eagles. So again, that's not going to be a big problem. I mean, Saturday twilights aren't as bad as the Sunday twilight. So I'm trying to go through the list now and see what our next Sunday twilight is. That's an away game, so that's not going to matter too much. That's an away game. That's not going to matter. That was our only. Oh, sorry, we've got one more Sunday twilight at home for the year, and that's round 21, August the 13th against Collingwood.
Okay.
Why the hell would they give a Sunday twilight against Collingwood?
Yeah, that's a fascinating one.
That's weird.
That's not
So
good.
I'm not sure about that, but yeah, looking at our fixture, we've only got like one more Sunday. We've got two Sunday twilights away, which includes the Crow Showdown. So
Well, then, what are your sours? What do you want to see that would improve? That was pretty poor on the weekend. Obviously, we've had Nick sour, and where do you see the concerns, guys? And maybe that let's use that as our sours or our concerns leading into this game. What do you want to see improve?
I can't really. I mean, I can't remember seeing Paddy really doing much in outside the ruck again. That's a little bit of a concern for me. I'm still happy, loving his ruck work.
Sure.
But again, I'm just looking at the stats. He had 7 disposals for the game. So outside the ruck, he's not. I think he's contributing as much as he can, but he's just not consistently. I would hate to see him become another Matthew Lobey, where I'm not saying he is. Not by any stretch. He's actually winning the ruck. He's winning the ruck for us, unlike Lobster. And I just want to see, like I said from the Sydney game, he had 2 marks in front of goal, and he shanked both kids. Where's the Paddy Ryder from 2015 and back from Essendon, where he could take a mark in front of goal and kick a goal?
Right. Yes.
Just going to get him to work on that a bit more.
Yeah, no, I see what you're saying. You probably he's around the groundwork could raise a notch, and it will be needed because Sam. That's where Jacobs is really good at. So he does kind of really support his midfield a lot, and let's hope Paddy can be. I guess if Sam Jacobs is not going to be, I don't think he's going to tag and follow kind of Ryder heavily. I think he's going to. I think Ryder can kind of play his game a little bit more as well. So, yeah.
I don't know whether we've been watching the same game. He may not have had a lot of disposals, but I've seen Ryder actually take very effective marks.
No, not the last
very effective kicks. So I don't know.
I'm not saying that his marking ability is gone. I'm saying his disposal efficiency has gone down quite a bit.
Yeah,
his disposals have gone by the wayside a little bit, and that's where my concern is for him.
Okay. Well,
it's like kicking in front of goal. He used to be a near dead-eye dick. He didn't get. He got nothing. He's got nothing in the Freo game, and I think he may have got a point or 2 in a Sydney game, and should be the kind of ruck that we want to see where he can, if he needs to chop out forward, he can be reliable up forward as well. That's where I'm coming from.
It's an interesting thought. What Nick says is on the Spreaker chat, Paddy didn't get much chance because the ball was always in our forward half. Freo had just no idea how to kick the ball out of defence. I guess That's an interesting one. Paddy won out. Charlie in the ruck, says Anthony Alessiani. By the way, Anthony's jumping on board with us from each week from next Wednesday as a guest on our panel here. So looking forward to having you on as a guest each week.
As I said, I'm not trying to be. Sorry.
Yeah. No, you're right. Paddy won out.
Yeah,
Charlie
I'm not trying to be
like
against Paddy Ryder as such, but I don't want to see him become complacent. I'm going to do the ruck tap, and I might do a little bit around the ground, but I don't want to see another Matthew Lobey situation. That's my bit of a concern for him.
Well, taking that on board too, and that's one thing that has really backfired badly on Lobey. Has been apart from the ruck, what else is he doing? Can't mark, can't kick goals. What's the point? And that's backfired on him. And I don't think that's going to happen with Paddy. Losing 12 months to the supplement saga and all that sort of thing. It's amazing the form that he's got, and he must have done some serious training with people other than Port Adelaide players.
All right, guys. So
definitely.
Let's move on to just our forward line. I really wanted to. We can bring up that obviously the whole Paddy went out, Charlie in the ruck or Charlie forward. That's going to be interesting. Where do you see us being a real stinging attack in our forward line? Is it you're looking at Wingard really dominating there, or you really want to see Dixon heavily contribute? I mean, it's. The weaknesses, I think, as I said, Andy Otten's going to be in their defence there with Laird. I'm a little bit concerned that the guys just don't. The composure may fall away. So I'm really hoping that's something for me for my improvement thing. I want to see a lot of composure, and I want to see a heavy, Pollock and all the other players that are bringing the ball in. Ebert, obviously, there's going to be heavy emphasis on quickly getting the ball into their defence, into our forward line, real super quick. It's got to be, because if you can just catch them on the hop, hopefully that'll be our best way of really just a steady push. I guess it'll be like we saw with Fremantle, but it's obviously they're going to be a lot stronger in defence. But if we can just keep attacking, I just don't want us to really show any sign of hesitation and second guessing ourselves. Aaron Young for a bag. Good call, Anthony. That'd be good. Youngie has had a good record in some showdowns, hasn't he?
Definitely.
He's a hard matchup.
I don't want to be harsh on Youngie either, but he probably needs to have a better game after last week. So, it was a fairly even spread, but Youngie was a bit down from normal. Would be where I'm coming from there. So
then again, he had a great game round one. So.
Oh yeah, so if he has just a little lull week like we did the first week, so if we can get both of them firing up, that'd be great. But yeah, Youngie and I think Wingard needs to step up a little bit more than what he has, but that'd be really good.
I did like in the last week's game. I want to dismiss in a way and go back to round one. I was looking at I was watching the game again the other day, and it was actually yesterday. I was just reminded about how we scored just before half time. We scored 2 goals in a matter of under a minute, and I loved seeing that. I love seeing that again, and I really think we need to in the last 5 minutes of every quarter, the time on, we really do need to kind of up the ante and keep that pressure going. And that's what I want to see from the boys. I just want to see, it be more about what they're doing, without having some sort of running on emotion from the crowd. You know what I mean? It's just something that with greater intent in their play. Portress just shared something that's impossible for every forward to dominate the scoreboard. Only so many scoring opportunities. True, no, exactly, but it's that contribution and making sure that they're not drifting out of the game. Portia also said something else which is interesting. I see Jacobs as a dangerous player he's dominated against us in the past. She says it's not as though Sauce does much around the ground. Yeah, I don't know. I got the I don't follow him much. I follow the Crows greatly intently to kind of know how kind of his role on the ground. But he just seems to me someone who seems to be so important for them that we do need to kind of balance, for Patrick Ryder in particular, how much time he's kind of focusing on Source how much he's focusing on just his contribution, because obviously that depends on how far, if he goes forward or not, and his role during the game. Yeah, hope Dixon has a huge game. I really do. He's one for me, guys. I just want to talk about Charlie and Talia's game. You know, it's a big one. That's a big game. Let's hope Dixon gets out of here with, how many goals do we want to see Charlie with? Mark, how many goals do you want to see Charlie kick?
Well, I'd love to see Charlie kick a bag of 6. And he's got all the capabilities. His confidence is coming back. Me and Kevin Martin had a bit of a chat, and I was saying, look, I hope he's not a potato. I hope he's not a spud. And but I thought that from 2016 that's my impression, but I would love to see that turn around, and I'll take it back. I'll take it in the face, and he did that. I think Charlie's confidence is growing, and he's certainly got the skills.
Anthony Alessiani said on, and I hope I pronounced that correctly, Anthony, Carl Amon up forward more. Maybe if Carl Amon isn't out this week, he may play a role a bit more in the forward line if you're bringing Pittard, or you're bringing some of the defenders up the ground a bit more, so Carl can give himself some more room to kick some goals. He's a good little goal sneak. That's for sure. He knows where the goals are.
Definitely.
All right, guys, we've got to wrap up shortly. So I wanted to go through, just to finish off with some predictions or thoughts on the weekend in regards to some the Magpies as well, and talk about that game as well. So, by the way,
do you also want to talk about their big news today?
Yes. Yeah, you want to bring that up, Craig?
The Magpies have signed a new major sponsor, and we've got another international company in I believe it's DCNS.
That's it.
The submarine building company, they're building all of our new defence submarines, and they want to help rejuvenate Port Adelaide as a whole, not just the team, but the whole city of Port Adelaide. And
that's right, the community.
They figured the best way to start would be by jumping on board with Port Adelaide, sponsoring them, and
I'll read this up here. Port Adelaide and French submarine builder DCNS have announced a partnership that will help revitalise the Port Adelaide Township and District. Partnership's a two-pronged approach to help DCNS engage with the Port Adelaide, the port community surrounding the future submarine shipyard, and to develop relevant education programs in local schools to encourage the next generation of scientists, mathematicians and engineers. Well done, Port Adelaide. I guess as the oldest football club in South Australia in senior football, they'll provide just a vessel to achieve this by bringing DCNS and Australia's native game together. So I'm sure there'll be some promotion, and it's all about not only the sponsorship in any financial kind of capacity, but just promoting the what they're doing and their cause, and it's going to be good. So that's Port Adelaide. I missed the Port Adelaide area already. Leaving I left Exeter, and I hope the I think Port Adelaide Football Club has done very well in the past, and will do in the future, looking after the community. There's never a doubt of that. The community definitely embraces the footy club as well. 2004, that was huge when they won the premiership. It was awesome for that town and that area. I was there at the time, and it was brilliant. All right, guys, the Maggies playing Glenelg on the weekend. This Friday night, in fact, two nights' time. You heading to the game at all, Craig?
No, I won't be heading to the game. I've got a very big jam-packed Saturday coming up, so it's going to be an interesting one for me, to be honest.
Excellent. I haven't really looked at any of the teams or any of the lists on that, but if we look at some of the potentials, like will Logan Austin be playing for the Maggies or the Power?
personally, I'd like to see him get another gig with the Power. I think he's just an excellent defender, but it depends on how he decides to structure up the team.
That would have to be 3 out then, because you've already got Hartlett and Pittard coming in, so...
Correct.
You have to... Yeah, that's a toughie. Unfortunately, by the way, speaking of the Maggies and just how they're going, Angus Monfries has done a hamstring again. He's out for 3 weeks. I'm sure everyone's heard that already, so it's a bit disappointing. This sets him back just a little bit longer.
Yes, but there will be another player returning this week for the Magpies who hasn't played for them for... Geez, you could almost say nearly a year. He was on and off between the Magpies and the Power for a good half of last year, but it's good to see him coming back, and that's Dougal Howard. Yeah,
Dougal Howard, I look forward to, hopefully the clubs, I'm sure I'll be listening to it on the radio, online, listening to the game, and maybe the club will have some highlights on it, so I look forward to seeing and hearing how Dougal goes against Glenelg. There'll be... It's a good game to watch if you live in the local area, if you're able to get to the ground. That's 7, I think 7 o'clock, 7:30. I think it's about 7 o'clock on 7 p.m. on Friday night. So that'll be interesting to kind of see what we do with that. And then we've got the big one on Saturday. So I assume we're tipping all the Maggies, by the way, before we get into the AFL game?
I would say we're definitely picking the Maggies. But the other thing is they're going to have some interesting locker rooms for the game down at Glenelg Oval on Friday night. If you haven't heard about that.
When you say interesting, what are they doing? Giving them the
what's going on? What they had is their away, and I believe even the home locker rooms have now been condemned after the big storms we had during December, and the roof of that big grandstand at Glenelg Oval got ripped off.
Wow.
But they've had structural people come through and basically say, nah, the whole thing's buggered, you're going to have to rip the whole thing down. So they're knocking down the entire grandstand there, and they're going to have to rebuild something new. So they can't have access to the locker rooms. I believe the Bays are using they're using the bloody the restauranty area.
Oh, yes, the little cafe area.
They're using part of that as their locker rooms and that now, and the opposition team, I think, has to use something across the other side of the oval, and it's, I think, more of a makeshift sort of deal.
Oh, gee, that's a mess.
Yes,
but you can't really you can't really fix that, unfortunately, because Mother Nature does its thing, and
tell me about it.
You can't deal with that.
Tell me about it. I've dealt with Mother Nature recently.
Yes.
It was a week ago we had water coming through the house and crazy flood. Yeah.
Well, while we mentioned people getting some bad weather, let's put our thoughts out there for all those that have gone through all the bullshit with the cyclone, with Debbie and the flooding that's been going on in Queensland and New South Wales. So it's just shocking. And
we saw a creek out the front here where it's normally just a little rock thing between my between the front driveway and like the road, just so our driveway's a little bridge to it, and it was just water, like it was big flooding, and my whole backyard was flooded, and like I was saying before, we had water coming through and literally pushing the paint. I had a basket the size of a basketball, almost like half a basketball, like of water pushing from the roof and just peeling away the paint and just leaking through, and thank God it just. The rain stopped just in time for that to recede overnight, and but it was leaking. I had leak going through the laundry, and it was nuts. So, and it was the weather. It was so violent. It was the craziest storm. It was dangerous. It was nuts. It was bunker down. Power went out a few times. It was a crazy, crazy night. Debbie does Brisbane. Well, I'm surprised the Brizzy and Essendon game didn't. They were still underwater. You could still see there was a fair bit of water on the ground, but. They were able to kind of get away with playing that game, but it was apparently completely underwater.
Talking about Brisbane, and that's coming up.
Yes.
They are a vastly improved side, and they're very good at the Gabba, so we've got to be good and not get knocked off by them at the Gabba, because they've done that before, not when we have at least expected it.
Well, thanks for reminding on that. I was just going to say I might bring that up next week just for fans that are listening to this. I know there's maybe some Queensland fans that are listening to this podcast as well, fellow kind of Queensland Power fans, but also fans coming up from Adelaide. There is a Queensland supporters a group, and they'll probably mention a bit about the pre-game and post-match kind of venues and where we're going to be. So I'll keep an eye on that and forward it off to put it onto the Portress podcast to let everyone know. So we'll keep an eye on that one. It's coming up now in three weeks' time. All right, guys. Well, I'm going to be tipping Port Adelaide for this game because I'm a Port supporter and I don't give a crap what anyone else thinks about that. I think Port Adelaide by 9 points, under 10 points. I'm going to go with 9 points. I'm going to go with our Showdown medalist being Jared Pollock. I reckon Jared is in for a big game. I'm going to go with Jared for Showdown medalist. Mark, you want to kick off your margin and Showdown
absolutely.
medalist?
I tip Port Adelaide by 29 points, and I would put Chad Wingard is going to have a blinder. He brings it out at Showdowns. Remember the 2013 one. He will have a blinder. He will come out of his shell. He's just ready now. 29 points and Chad Wingard.
I could almost do a 3-2-1 Pollock, Wines and Boak in my 3-2-1s for the...
Yeah. So. As long as we win, I'm happy.
But it's going to be needed a big game by E, but all the boys has to contribute. And I don't care if they are just neck and neck with them all game. As long as we, just when the siren goes, we're over the line. Craig, your tip, margin, and your Showdown medalist.
Well, obviously it's Port Adelaide.
Mm-hmm.
I reckon 3 goals, 18 points.
Okay.
And Showdown medalist, Ollie Wines. He is going to have a blinder. He is going to have a blinder. Him and Power Pepper are just going to crash packs. Ollie's going to be the one getting the ball out while Sammy's sort of protecting him a bit. And, yeah, I reckon he's just going to be in for a massive game. He's already had 2 games already where he's had 30-plus disposals. He's going to do it again this week. And I just don't think the Crows midfield is going to be ready for our new midfield lineup.
For anyone just listening real quick, we've got a couple of tips and margins, etc. on the Spreaker chat. I'll throw them in. Anthony Alessiani, Power by 16. Wingard to star of the bag. Ollie Wines, 30+. Chad will get the Showdown medal. Port by 48. SPP for the medal. I love that, Porsche.
And then I woke up.
Exactly.
You're my kind of girl.
Nicholas Teal. Power by 42, smashing game. The shot the Crows. 13 individual goal kickers sharing the load. Yes, we're dreaming. And the medalist Ollie Wines. Well, that's not an unrealistic medalist there. Portia, Nicholas, Paul, Anthony, everyone there that's jumped on the Spreaker chat tonight. Those that are listening in delay, thank you very much. The Portress podcast, guys. 8 p.m. SA time every Wednesday night. Thanks to Port Fan Radio and thanks to New Vision Finance, Rick and the team there. Thank you, Mark. Thank you so much. Craig, thanks again. And Anthony, we look forward to having you on next week. I'm not sure, Mark, if you are on next week, but if you are, the more the merrier. The three to four of us.
There could be a chance. Yes. Never tear us apart, is what I say.
Awesome. So look, guys, please share this, guys, as many times all through your social media things. The Portress podcast on Twitter as well as on Facebook. Follow us. Follow Port Fan Radio on Twitter as well as Facebook for their social media things. Anthony Alessiani's got also with his YouTube, we'll be doing some video logs as well. He's with the pair and we'll be putting them up and liking them through the Portress YouTube. So we've got a lot of things going on this year. Very exciting. And we thank you again for listening. And we'll see you all next Wednesday. Thanks, guys. Go the Power and enjoy the big one on the weekend. And go the Maggies on Friday and Port Adelaide Saturday night. Craig, Mark, thanks, guys.
Go the Power.
They are on song at the present time. They are reborn, Port. I'm a believer.
There it is! It's